Hello and welcome to Slow Pit Stop, the international Formula One podcast by fans for fans all around the world. I'm Arafat, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host Mohammed. Say hi, Mohammed.
Hi, Mohammed.
And joining us from in the Canada, we have Adam. Say hi, Adam. Excellent. I'm in the UK. Mohammed's in the US, and you are in the Canada. How are we all? Have we all managed to collect our podcast snacks? I know that was a bit of a problem before we started recording.
Oh, nice.
Nutella biscuits.
Those are so good.
Tier 1.
But here's my
Nutella.
problem. Here's my problem with the Nutella snacks. There's all this extra biscuit before I get to the Nutella. I just want the Nutella.
It's pronounced Nutella.
A jar with a spoon. Like, what is this adding that I can't get?
Exactly. Why do I need to chew through some cookie, some chalky biscuit cookie before I get to the best part of it?
The cookie's so good. Guys, and the Be Ready's even better. What are they trying to say? Bread? Are they saying, is it a bread pun, or
it's a breadstick. It's a breadstick.
It's wonderful. Now I'm going to use this cough muting to open wrappers and bite things.
I'm going to go with my snack first before Arafat tells me about his potato salad or whatever healthy thing he has this week. I have a bag of Cheez-Its.
Oh, nice. I do not have a healthy snack. I have some dairy milk caramel nibbles. So, Mohammed, you're taking the lead this week. You're guiding us through a fun episode in between races. I
have been allowed out of the dungeon of co-hosthood to take the lead this episode. Do you remember
I thought co-host meant we're both equal.
Well, do you remember the olden days? I used to say, hey, it's Mohammed, and this is the podcast by fans for fans. We used to take turns. We don't do that anymore.
Did we? Yes. I think it started when you started saying hi, Mohammed, to yourself, and I was like, that's so good. We need to do that every week. And you were like, I don't want to do it every week. And I was like, we're going to do it every week. And you were like, no, I'm not a number 2 podcast host. And I was like, look, if there's an individual win like this week, then you can take the lead. But when the constructors is like on the line, we have to stick with what we know.
My manager should have had experience with that, but he didn't step in and make the decision. So I'm stuck here now.
Rules.
Yeah. Okay, so plan for today. We are going to do a couple different things. The first thing we're going to do is kind of just talk about how we feel the season has gone so far, and we'll do that by bringing up our best moment, and then best moment in terms of just like raw sport. That was such a good moment. And then following that up with what we think is our funniest moment or something like that. Okay. So we'll do that, and then we're going to transition into a trivia game. I've got these questions, and I love doing trivia with you guys because you actually remember this stuff. Literally, when we play with anyone else, they just sit there and they stare, and they're like, I can't remember what race was last weekend.
Is it too niche?
What is niche? What does that mean?
I don't know. What were you saying earlier?
Niche.
It's too niche.
Niche.
Yeah.
Whatever. I learn from reading, and anything that the United States appropriates.
I think a bunch of Americans say niche. I think it's an Americanism.
Is it not? Hold on. Let's take a break here. What is an Americanism? Everything we pronounce, we default pronounce correctly. There's no such thing as an Americanism.
Oh boy. Here it goes.
Here
comes Mr. Super Mario Brothers or whatever.
You know, the funny thing is, like, this is such a stereotype that outside of America we're also gung-ho, like, right? But it's actually very true. We are all very gung-ho.
Google has 2 options on how to pronounce.
It's niche.
Wait. This is a British pronunciation.
Niche.
Okay. And let's click American.
Niche.
Oh, God.
You do hear it, but it's definitely wrong. Technically, it's a medical term,
right,
too.
So,
now
that I've been embarrassed once on this episode, we'll do the trivia game, and then we will switch over to ranking the F1 drivers for this year, all like 20, I think there's like 27 of them at this point, based on how many people swap in and out. We'll rank all of them, and then we'll find out how we'll do it together as a team, because I know we all have different opinions, so we'll have to average
compromise.
It out. Exactly. All right, let's start with best moments. I don't know, Adam, you're in Canada. Do you want to start?
Okay, my best moment So I think I initially thought this was Lewis winning Silverstone because I was there, and that's such a special edition. But the F1 official channel put together a YouTube thing over the break of all the greatest moments,
Mm.
and I have to be honest, like watching back all of them, I have to think that Charles winning Monaco after being foiled unreasonably multiple times was by far the most special moment for me this year. And yeah, similar levels of emotion from him coming across the finish line and everything. But he's won so infrequently compared to Lewis. I feel like that makes it a bit more rare and special. Couldn't have happened to a better guy.
Yeah.
So my favorite moment, like, it's probably got to be the thing that's most memorable and sticks with you. So obviously Lewis winning, Charles winning, Monza was big, winning Monaco was big. And I remember the feeling I had when Lewis won. I was stood right here in this room, kids were in the garden, and I was just like so excited. I was stood up for the last few laps. But you know, if you were like, oh, what was a good overtaking, this and that, and like the more I think about it, the more I remember that race. But the one thing that stands out in my mind from this year so far is where I was when I saw on my phone that George Russell had lost Belgium. I remember it so clearly. And just, I was alone and there was no one else there. And I just saw it on my phone and I was just like, this is the best. This is art. And to me, that's been the highlight of the year so far. Because it wasn't just that Lewis won, it was that George lost. And it was just...
Oh my god.
Oh man, I initially had a much more niche answer, but now I don't know what to say because you guys brought up really good ones. First of all, I completely forgot about Lewis winning in Silverstone. That should have been my best moment, so I'll put that as my best moment because I feel like I have to. But my actual best moment I think is going to be the Alex Albon double overtake because that was just so good.
Yeah.
That was just like, I think it was in Canada. That was just like slip right through the cracks, and that was just so satisfying to watch. But there's so many good moments that it's hard because I think Charles Leclerc winning in Monza was incredible. Winning in Monaco was great. Lewis winning in Silverstone. George losing, getting disqualified was amazing. Lewis moving to Ferrari was a memorable moment. So there's been a lot. I would say as honorable mention would be Max having the engine failure in Australia because I think that was like the first time in a long time since Bahrain 2022 that we felt like Red Bull maybe wasn't indestructible this year, even though it still seemed a far way off. But that was like, yeah.
Your point about Alex is interesting because I almost feel like we need a section for like best move because that was an incredible move. Oscar on Lando and Monza was amazing.
That was good too.
And I actually think there's kind of been a buried best move, which was Max overtaking in Spain. I can't remember who it was on. It might have been Lando. That's where I need to check. But it's just this wild, ultra high speed overtake where he has to slot his car in absolutely pixel perfectly to make the clean overtake, and he makes it look so easy. It's such a killer overtake. And I think in terms of precision, it might be even cooler than Alex's, although it's very
Speaking of Max, I can't forget Max running or Lewis not turning or whatever it was when they collided and Max went off. That was also an incredible moment that brought back elements of 2021 and got me all excited all over again. I can't remember where that was, though. It's not part of my trivia game, clearly.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of when Vettel didn't have the fastest car anymore, and he'd get frustrated and just kind of make these boneheaded moves because he would be like, I'd rather crash out than not finish high.
Let's do this for our next favorite thing. There's been so many driver changes, team principal changes, engineer changes. What is your favorite move, team move from this year?
Oh man, I almost need to see like a platter of that like Twitter graphic.
I know, you know, there's like every time there's like a new one that comes up. Here, maybe I can pull it up actually.
I'm trying to think of
cut this part out.
Like going from the front of the year, how many can I just remember off the top of my head? So first announcement is Lewis, which is such a wild first one.
Yeah, Does that count as part of this season, or was it in the off season? Or
Yeah, I'd say it's part.
That's like really what kicked it off.
Yeah,
because if that counts, then it's got to be that, because it's the one that has the most excitement
Nui's
attached
comparable.
to it.
Nui
Nui is
definitely
comparable, but I think also Nui is like a.
But the thing with Nui is it was like such a far way off, like it was like coming. So I just knew it was going to happen.
Yeah, that's true. The amount of whatever they call that leaks.
Yeah, exactly.
Made it less interesting. So what do we have? We have that. We have Hülkenberg to Audi. We have Carlos Sainz to Williams. We have
Perez somehow keeping his seat.
Perez keeping his seat. You said favorite though, right?
Can you see this?
Infinity Mirror.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, there we go.
Jonathan Wheatley,
I
Kevin
guess we could have played some
Magnussen
trivia
leaving.
game with this. How many changes?
Yeah. Jack Doohan, who cares? Carlos Sainz, not a favorite. I'm just glad he didn't crash out completely.
Logan
Kevin Magnussen leaving. Franco Colapino, don't care. Logan Sargent.
This doesn't include Adrian Newey. This one, I didn't
Esteban going to Haas feels like an end of career move.
Yeah,
like he'll be there for a couple of years and then he'll like quietly fade away. Like he'll have a couple of seasons with Haas where he's kind of anonymous, gets some points here or there. We don't think he's bad. We don't think he's good. And then suddenly someone like Ollie Behrman, who we've never heard of before, will take his seat. That's what's going to happen there.
Ollie is already there.
Already there.
You mean Schwartzman or something? Who do they got left?
Theo Porcher.
Exactly.
Oh, who's this guy that's going to take Bottas' spot? I've literally never heard of him.
No idea.
No,
It's
he's
like
Google
his name.
You just
I need to Google his name
on it. So it's Paul Aaron, Isaac Hajar, and then this guy duking it out
Bortoleto.
for F2 supremacy.
Yeah, that's it. Bortoleto. Yeah. Never heard of him.
Yeah, to be honest, as far as I can tell from following it, it looks like Paul Aaron is actually the best of the three of them and has had some reliability issues recently. And he's the only guy who doesn't have backing either. Like Bortoleto's a McLaren Academy, Isaac's a Red Bull. I kind of feel for Paul Aaron kind of being on his own. He's Estonian, so he may make some kind of political blunder soon. Hopefully he doesn't do a Nazi salute. But yeah, he's kind of just out there unsupported, doing well. So I'm pulling for him a bit.
Here's something. What's the move that you wish had happened? Because of all of these, they're all interesting, but ultimately boring, apart from Lewis. What's the move that didn't happen that you wish did happen?
Okay, I'm ready to answer both of them. So first of all, my favorite is going to be Nico going to Audi because I have a soft spot for him. I think he's precisely the kind of guy who
he's on life,
like
he's on his 7th life right now.
Yeah, and he really deserves a top drive just to see if he's really as good as his qualifying suggests he is. Because that'd be amazing. What if he really is an above average qualifier, truly, and then he has a car that has pace? Like that could be amazing.
Yeah.
So that'd be my favorite. And obviously being kind of niche because Lewis and Adrian are the true answers. I think I'm saying niche subconsciously on purpose. Terrible. That Synapse is now active. But the thing I wish had happened, I'm going to take the obvious one from my fandom.
Synapse? Oh my god, do not say that.
Like
oh,
you say
synapse.
Encephalon or something, right?
What do you say then?
Synapse.
Yeah.
What is the organ that produces adrenaline?
The adrenal gland.
I messed that up. I meant to say, what is the organ that produces epinephrine? And it's the adrenaline.
Yeah, right. Okay.
You're the one that says epinephrine. No one else does.
No, this guy is saying synapse and encephalon like it's normal here.
I don't know what encephalon is.
Yeah, and like
Do
encephalitis.
you know what's
like instead of encephalitis?
Yeah, people that say encephalitis. What is on your head right now?
Hair?
What is on your head right now?
Headphones.
Hair.
No, the red thing.
I don't know. I don't speak English.
Is it a cap or is it a sap?
Oh, come on. This stuff never bears out.
So
here's the real question. Okay, you have arteries, then you have arterioles, and what's the smallest structure called?
Arterioles.
It starts
capillaries.
With a C. Right, and what does Mohammed say?
Capillary.
Capillary. Is it not capillaries? You guys are insane.
See, this is where Canada lives in that liminal space.
You guys are
right?
crazy.
It's not capillary, but not OE.
You're gonna tell me with a straight face you say capillary? I can't with this. Let's continue into Formula One. I can't. I just can't.
Okay. All right, let's have fell back into my wish.
The move that didn't
mine is
happen.
obvious.
What?
Yeah. Well, I was going to say mine is obvious, right? I wanted what was supposed to happen without Carlos Slim's intervention to happen. So Danny to
Yeah.
Red Bull, Liam Lawson to RB, and Checo to pasture.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like
I think that's probably the
I'll
lead
never get over
candidate.
it.
No,
Never
mine
get
is
over
mine is I think the lead candidate right now amongst Lewis Hamilton fans. I think we all wanted Adrian Newey at Ferrari, and it still makes no sense to me that he went to Aston Martin. I know you brought up good points last episode, but I hate them all, and I think he should have went to Ferrari. That's but my favorite, real quick, my favorite is what was I just had it in my head and then I lost it. Mattia Binotto coming back, and my favorite is that because we said that would happen last year, and it's one prediction we got right.
My move that I wish had happened was Yuki Tsunoda emancipating himself from his emotionally abusive family. I wish he had gone to Aston, because him, Fernando, and Adrian Newey, I think that would have been so much fun. Or at the very least, there was a point where Audi came to talk to him, and Audi would have been Yuki and Nico, and I think that would have been a nice little team. And I'm just sad he kind of got stuck at Toro Rosso again.
Yeah, that's fair. I think his days are numbered now too, because I'm looking at the future and I'm seeing, they're
especially with Joe
with Honda, unless he absolutely, resoundingly outperforms Daniel. In which case, I think that we're at a point now where we can agree and hope that Sergio's finished, and that now the better performer of the RB, they gave him the life support for the end of the year, but it's probably not going to be longer than that. Sure, they say there's so many street tracks now, and he might redeem himself, but that hasn't been the case so far.
Yeah,
unlikely to be. So I think he's going to fade out. Then we get the better performing RB person, and if it's not Yuki, then I think he's finished, because I think that's a Liam Lawson, Isaac Hadjar team, because they have to reward Isaac for very likely winning or coming very close.
Yeah, but they've given. Well, I think Yuki will be in the car next year. They've given him a contract for next year.
He'll be in the car next year.
Yeah, but his days are numbered. I mean,
exactly.
Generally. I don't think he's going to make it to Aston Honda because Lance has to be
I wish
in the car
that move
forever.
had happened.
He could be reserve for.
The fact that Zhou Guanyu is losing his seat tells me that Yuki Tsunoda will lose her seat, because I actually rank Zhou pretty highly, as we will literally rank him later in the episode, but I rank him pretty highly. I just think he's been given a bad car, but you were saying in the last episode, as long as the rookie can keep up with the rest of the field, they're good, and I think Zhou Guanyu certainly did that. Certainly drove the car to its potential. So it's sad for me that he's losing his seat next year.
I didn't know you had a Zhou Guanyu stand in you. That's interesting.
Zhou and Yuki,
is it because his record is similar to Logan's and you love Logan? Is that why?
Maybe.
His feeder series, or whatever we call it, junior series record was similar to Logan's.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I also just kind of liked him because he came out of nowhere. He could have gotten all these accusations of pay driver because his sponsors really were paying for him to be in there, but he was good. He was decent. So,
yeah, he was decent.
Yeah.
You know me, I'm not about non-champions. He has won some series to keep him in my book.
Right, what's the next question?
So now we're going to do our trivia game. You guys ready to do some trivia?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, nice. So there are, how many questions do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions. Oh, this will be exciting. Do you want to do it as a game, or do you want to just answer?
Whatever you intended. I trust the artist.
Okay. Initially, it was a much longer game, as I said, but I changed it because some of the answers were too difficult. So
specific.
All right. So we'll just do it. Whoever answers first, then they get to go, and then if they get it wrong, the other person gets to steal. So the first question I have is: there are only 2 drivers this season to score points in every single race. Who are those 2 drivers?
Charles Leclerc and Lando Norris.
No.
It was a good guess, though.
Leclerc was like P16 sometime after Canada. I remember everybody was complaining. I think Silverstone. He had a really bad Silverstone race. Adam. Ooh, close, but not Carlos, who I think he had a DNF somewhere. I actually had this chart up earlier, but I took it off. The true answer, which you both somewhat got right, is Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. Don't sleep on my boy Oscar.
Okay.
He's also in a
I
rocket
slept on
ship.
him, and I feel bad about that.
He finished 13th in Miami.
Oscar?
Didn't Lando Austria? He didn't finish that race, did he?
No. I
They
looked
didn't
at.
finish Austria.
Yeah, but he's considered to still be. Maybe my
They
question
did
was.
give him something, but it probably couldn't be top 10.
I think
I think he did get classified.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Pulling it up.
Maybe I've got this.
Here we go. I've got it up. Lando finished 20th in Austria. So
Oh, my
we're all
question
wrong.
was who's finished every race, not who's finished in the points every
Okay,
race.
well,
Okay.
Which is still kind
very
of
classic Mohammed start. So
Well-
I'm into it.
Yeah, fine.
Yes, I was going to say who's finished every race, not who's finished in the points. So I think the only one I think nobody has finished in the points every race. Yeah, no
Except for
one
have
has
retirement as someone.
Yeah, exactly. But the two drivers who have finished, in my defense, I made this game weeks ago, so it's it's Lando and Oscar, the two drivers who finish every single race. This one I know a little bit better, and you
Okay.
guys might not get. So you can get with the sprint weekend a maximum of 34 points out of the weekend if you win the sprint, get the fastest lap, get the race win. 34 points. The maximum number of points somebody has actually managed to get in a single weekend this year is 33 points. Who was it? And for an extra bonus credit, where?
Max
I'm
Verstappen.
gonna say Max
And
China.
somewhere.
Ooh, Adam got it. That
Where?
was Max Verstappen in China early in the season, back when the Red Bull was still with its illegal / maybe not really illegal or important at all, depending on who you ask, break thing. And at least the Red Bull was more balanced, I think we can say back then.
Yeah, that was
and
the last weekend of pure dominance, and it had a sprint.
Yeah, good catch. So that's 1 point for me for getting the question wrong in the first one, and then 1 point
Yeah,
for
that seems
Adam.
fair. Somehow that's fair.
1 point for Adam. Okay, next one. This one should hopefully be easier to remember, and this will be just an answer of speed. Who can answer it first? Two drivers scored the same exact qualifying time this year. Who were they, and where was it?
That's Montreal, Max and George.
Nice. Very good. Very good. I was stuck
You were there. And
on
you
a
were wet
cliff
as
somewhere. Yeah,
Oh,
well, I
yeah.
couldn't get there on time, so I just heard it from everybody else. Oh, George has scored the same. Oh, he's on pole. Meanwhile, I was like trying to climb a tree to get to the track because I didn't know where I was. Interesting weekend. I got very wet. Okay. 2 to Adam. Arafat, come on. We can team co-host can do this.
Team co-host.
Okay. Logan, but not forgotten, Sargent, has had the unique pleasure of being out-qualified every single race this year before he was ceremoniously kicked out. He was out-qualified every single race by his partner, Alex Albon. But he did manage to out-qualify a Red Bull driver, Mr. Sergio Perez. How many times did he out-qualify Sergio Perez?
4.
7.
That's 4 times. So
Yeah.
Arafat will take the win for 4 times. 7.
I know my Perez failure is greater than you.
Wow.
Because I remember when
deserve
he
to
kept
wear
his
this.
seat.
Ah.
Yeah, when he kept his seat, and we all thought Daniel Ricciardo was going to be in it. I was like, but Sargent has out-qualified him 4 times, and he's not kept his seat.
So you know what's funny is when I made this game, which like I said, it was like a while ago, it was 3 times, and then he out-qualified him 1 more time. I had to go back and edit it so I didn't forget that it was 4 times. But yes, 4 times. Okay, last question. Okay, who this season has had the most, which 2 drivers, I should say, this season have had the most 1-2 pairings throughout the season? Now, it could be either one in 1 or 2, but they've been on the 1
Max
and 2
Lando?
the most. Oh, nice. Yes, that's correct. Max Lando. Fast as heck.
Nice. Somehow I thought it had to be teammates, so I was not on that one.
Oh, sorry. No, yeah, most team 1-2s.
You
You
don't
want to do that?
understand how
So
the
it's
sap
tied.
of
It's
Mohammed
tied.
works.
So it's tied. You guys both have 2 points. Do you want to go with who has the most team 1-2s?
That sounds actually kind of hard.
Has Perez even finished on the podium?
Yeah, certainly not that, but is it like...
I want to say Mercedes.
I'll say McLaren.
No,
then.
because George was disqualified. Yeah, it'll be McLaren.
So let's see.
'Cause I
The
don't recall the
answer
Ferrari boys
is
snuggling up to each other at all.
wow. Are you guys ready to hear the answer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The answer is Red Bull. Sergio Perez finished second 3 times this year
Okay.
in
Yeah,
Bahrain,
Forgot about
in
the early
Saudi,
stuff.
and Japan. He finished
Okay.
second with Max winning.
Man, what a start it was. Too.
I know.
Remember when Max said that the car drove even better?
Red Bull started the season with 3 almost back-to-back 1-2s. That's crazy.
Yeah, and we were all
It
like,
was
"Oh,
so
Perez is
ominous.
fixed. Like his job is safe forever. They fixed Perez." God, it feels like 3 seasons ago or something.
Yeah, this season
Yeah.
really took a heavy turn right around Canada. I don't know what happened, but McLaren did something. Okay, great. So that's our trivia game. So who answered that? Nobody answered that. Oh, I get that for 2. So it's
Yeah,
still
you get
tied.
that.
It's
That's
still
right.
tied.
2-2-2.
Do you want to do my one of the questions I took out?
Yeah, I have a
Go on.
bonus question
Is it
available
coherent?
after for you guys.
It's a tough one. Okay, it's named that driver. I started the race in 7th place. I struggled for a majority of the race, fighting Fernando Alonso the entire time, until right when the pressure got on, I crashed into him. I was very upset because I thought my teammate was going to score points while I didn't, but fortunately, he also had a mechanical failure. Who am I?
Hamilton?
Should I say it again?
No, I'm thinking who crashed into Fernando.
Yeah, I don't remember anyone crashing into Fernando, but I feel like
I think it
when
was
I
someone
hear
random
about
like
somebody
Albon or something.
being outperformed by
So
somebody else and then them
Fernando
screwing
finished
it
the
up,
race,
it's
though.
usually Lewis.
Fernando
Was
finished
it
the
like
race.
Albon or something?
It was George Russell, close with Lewis
I had
Hamilton.
it
It was
backwards.
George Russell.
Okay.
I forgot where it was. Maybe Bahrain. Oh no, it was Australia. It was wherever Lewis retired. So it was in Australia, and George was in 7th the entire time, which we didn't think about. But then, when the pressure came on and he had to make an overtake, he crashed into Fernando. And then Lewis, shortly after, also couldn't finish his race. So,
was that the one where Lewis's engine failed?
Yeah. It was Max also failed. Remember, because we were so happy that Max's engine failed, and then Lewis's engine failed.
I don't recall feeling happy about that. No.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe we were both happy. We were all happy, I suppose. Yes.
And then I think Carlos Sainz won that race, and we were like, "Wow, somebody else is gonna win every race."
Yeah. Oh, it was Max's brakes, but yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah. Okay, great. That was a fun trivia game. Neither of you got that question right again, but we're not gonna do another.
So I guess you win.
Yeah.
However, I do have another tiebreaker, which is very important. Okay.
Okay.
So, the structure in the middle ear, called the fenestra cochlea,
oh boy,
has a funnel-shaped depression which measures 2 to 3 millimeters long and 1.5 millimeters wide. What is the name of that structure?
What? Oh, it's the
The fenestra cochlea is also known as the round window.
Yeah, it's the middle ear. It's the otitis media.
Otitis.
No, what's the name of the funnel-shaped depression?
The depression of.
That's right. It's the round window niche.
The round window niche.
Wow. So I've Googled funnel-shaped depression.
I was bringing back niche.
So I've Googled funnel-shaped depression, and the Google AI has told me that the answer is volcanic crater. So I'm going to go with volcanic crater. Each of you has a volcanic crater in their ear. Okay. Moving on to the final part of our episode.
Hoping somebody would guess niche given our constant.
Yeah.
What is our criteria for rating the drivers here?
Initially, the rubric I was going to give you is that you had to rate them. Obviously, S means Super Saiyan. Then you have A, B, C, D, F.
That's true. That is obvious.
And I was gonna say you had to rank them according to their performance in their car. So you couldn't just say that Alex sucks because he has 2 points or something like that. However, we have 3 very different opinions on the show, as we've discovered when we ranked other things. So I don't know how we're going to win out and determine what rank somebody goes into. I guess we just whoever has the most compelling argument. And I'll just start, over at K-Mag over in the Haas because he's the first picture I have. So let's start.
Is this for this season or all time or what?
No, this is for this season so far. This season so far.
Okay.
So I don't know how some people have performed this season, but I know where I would rate them just based on who they are.
Okay, we could do it that way too.
Like Fernando. I'm like, he's having a bit of an anonymous season. I'm sure he's doing a good job. I think he has double the points of his teammate. But like his teammate
so
is
I
Lance,
have it,
so it's hard to judge.
I have the points up here somewhere. So
can I just tell you how I would do it?
Okay.
How I would do mine, and then you can like argue against why I'm wrong, according to you.
Okay.
So S, I would have Lewis, Max, and Fernando. A would be Leclerc and Sainz.
Hold on, you're going too fast for me. Lewis, Max, and Fernando. A would be Sainz and Leclerc.
And Piastri.
Ooh.
And then B is the bottle shop, which is Lando and George.
Okay.
And then everybody else goes into C, apart from people that bought their seats. So Logan and Lance and who's our other pay?
Lance bought his seat. You got to put him in D or
That's what I
F,
said.
whatever.
Logan and Lance bought their seats.
Yeah.
And did Zhou Guanyu not buy his seat?
Zhou Guanyu bought his seat, so he gets to go in D as well.
So Logan,
so this
Lance...
this is our base setting of what I think is correct, and then you can argue and move people up or down based on this.
And Logan, Lance, and Zhou Guanyu. Okay, Adam, let's go.
I'm ready to argue against you.
So I'm going to go on record saying something very controversial. I'll probably not be able to run for office after I say this, but as regards the Super Saiyan tier, it's recently occurred to me that Dragon Ball GT is actually better than Dragon Ball Super.
What?
And
Why? How?
What?
Yeah, Dragon
it's
Ball.
not even real.
Dragon Ball
GT
Z is amazing.
Exist.
Yeah, it doesn't exist.
Dragon Ball GT, if you rewatch it now, it's got whimsy. It's a lot less serious than
Dragon
Super.
Ball
Super
GT
just is like powering up
was
forever.
the first show as a child that I watched where I went, "Oh, cartoons can be boring."
Nah, it rules. It rules in retrospect. We weren't ready for it because we wanted more Dragon Ball Z, which is what.
Yeah.
So I think what they did right with Dragon Ball Super is making the movies and then like turning that into arcs.
The movies are cool. The series is just meaningless. Just like powering up forever. Now multiverses are never a good idea. There's a lot of genocide, just multiverses getting destroyed. The only thing that's really cool about Super is it finally confronts us with the fact that Goku is the biggest villain of all, like by far, because his need to fight increasingly stronger opponents literally genocides universes. And that's all he cares about. And so he's truly the biggest bad guy, and you can't avoid your Saiyan DNA.
I was always Team Vegeta.
Yeah. So you're going to follow with what I'm saying next. So what am I getting at? Why is GT better? A lot of reasons. But
we're about to say Max is Vegeta. If Max is Vegeta...
yeah, probably. But the coolest character in GT is Baby Vegeta, when that parasite infects Vegeta because it's from the Tuffles and they were almost genocided, or they were, by the Saiyans, so they're getting their revenge. Totally sympathetic. Love Baby. Really bad name, but I don't know what the Japanese were going for. Anyway, Baby Vegeta most looks like Nico Hulkenberg, and much like Super Saiyan 2 Baby Vegeta, massively outperforming his power level. So I'm going to argue we can break the difference, but I'm going to say for what he's done this season, that Nico's in the S tier.
Wow.
And then my counter is that I think that Fernando has been good when his car is good and is kind of just whiny and annoying when not. And I'm starting to think he's more of an A than an S kind of guy.
So, wait, Fernando, you want to put him in A, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. So my question is...
A little bit. Like, when we see those rain races and you're like, okay, the goats come alive, he shows up. I have to admit. But I'm souring on him.
Where did he finish in Canada? Canada was like one of our best rain races.
I'll give you the Alonso.
Oh,
I'm going to sit and digest the Hulkenberg move.
The only thing I can say about Alonso is he was extremely endearing, the way, like, this unattached, childless man posted, like, selfie after selfie after selfie with him in his Aston Martin Valkyrie with heart emojis and heart eye emojis. It was just the best. Like, what just he's living his best life, and his childlike joy over getting that car, which apparently broke down in 1 hour in Monaco. Just the best.
So my changes to this are a couple. One, we're looking at the S and the A tier, which we're ignoring the bottom tier, and I would immediately move Perez down to F, along with my homeboy Logan Sargent, which I'm surprised we haven't done.
Yeah.
I'll probably also move K-Mag down into F because I just feel like every race I watch him, I'm disappointed.
I think he gets up to D just for the fun. For the fun. Yeah. Like, how many races have been interesting because he's been there?
You know, where was it? I think it was Zandvoort, where like he tried to slow down the pack to help Hulkenberg catch up, but you can't do it at Zandvoort because the turn is banked, so there's so many cars that can get around. And as soon as he like hit on the brakes into the turn, all 4 cars like swamped him. And I was like, "What were you trying to do there, K-Mag? You can't hold him back. You can. It's not the same."
It did work for a while, though. You have to hand it to him.
He's now coming back with 0 points.
Yeah. It's going to be dangerous for the others.
He has no incentive not to crash because he's already lost his seat for next year. So, okay. The other thing I want to change is I want to move Carlos out of A and put him into B. I just don't think that he has
no business being next to Charles.
He hasn't shined this year.
But
I'm really happy with this,
he is better than George and Lando.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, he is. I don't know if
see what I mean. If you're going to move him to B, everybody else gets moved down.
Is he better than Lando?
No, we just need to move Lando down.
Yes. Lando gets down 1 more to C.
I would leave Lando higher than George because George qualifies. He has good results and stuff, but when the pressure is on, he's turning into a bit of a Grosjean.
So do we have like a B plus? Can I make like a B plus here?
Yeah, this is really tough.
Oh, I can add a row. That... Oh my god. We can do...
No, that's a cop-out. This has to be agony.
You sure? I could do it. He doesn't...
no, I don't know.
I will concede this. As long
as
you leave...
to be S? Is that the real thing we're looking at here?
No, I don't think so.
I think Charles is A+. But if you leave George in C, then I will give you Sainz and Lando as a B. If anybody's listening on Spotify, which is our main thing, you're not gonna have any idea what's going on.
I know
right
this
now.
Is like the problem. Come to our YouTube channel, Not That Good Media. Actually, it's called Slow Pit Stop now.
Yeah.
You can get the link is on Instagram. The link is going to be on Twitter. We're gonna put this out on YouTube.
At the top, type @ as in like an email @ Slow Pit Stop, all one word. You'll find our channel. Watch this there because I think if you're listening in your car or wherever you are, this almost just sound insane.
So my nephew listens to our podcast. He doesn't watch it, and he told me he listened to the helmet episode and didn't understand a single thing.
Amazing.
Okay, all right. What are we doing? We're gonna change Carlos. We're gonna put him up to A. We're gonna move. George is already in C. So do you want to keep it like this? But I didn't like this. I didn't like
this
Carlos being next to Charles Leclerc.
We put Carlos down to B. And
no,
then
put Carlos down
C
and then
put... you guys need it.
All right, I'm making a B+.
So brutal,
I'm doing it. Oh, shoot. How did I...
No, don't do it. It's fine. Just put George down in...
Yeah, just put George down in C, and then I'll be happy with that. So Lando and Sainz are B.
You know, I agree that George deserves to be C because he basically has only performed to the level of his car, which to me puts you at a B or C level. We haven't really seen him super duper shine, except for arguably in Belgium, but we all have different opinions over the weight loss and what really happened there. So that disqualifies him as he was in the race. So, all right, is this our final? Are we leaving Hulkenberg in S? Are we really doing such a thing?
Yeah, it feels unusual.
Guys, he has 22 points compared to K-Mag's 6 points. Wow, that's actually insane. That's almost 4 times as many points. He's finishing the points 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times this year, with his career high of P6 this year. That's actually not bad. Maybe he is outperforming the Haas.
Yeah, he is outperforming it. I'm trying to decide between S and A for him.
I think A. I think S is
I'm going to go with S. I think
This is
I'm
funnier,
convinced of S. I think we'll leave him
Yeah.
in S. I
Okay.
think this will
We're
be
gonna
the
see this
controversial
guy
take.
WDC
He
throughout
has a
the
bright
Audi
future ahead
era.
of him.
Yeah, he and Mattia Binotto holding hands on the top step.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Okay. And there is our
So
our ranking.
One question for you
Yeah.
guys. Do you sometimes feel like Ocon would be better if he had a good drive?
No.
Okay. Sometimes I think he's got a lot of
Oh,
raw
like a good
speed,
car.
but he shouldn't be next to Gasly. I don't know if that means Gasly goes
Maybe
down or
that's
he goes
true.
up.
Let's move
I
Gasly
just
down.
don't-
I like that. Look, Gasly has how many points? I'll tell you. Gasly has 8 points. Ocon has 5 points. But
Yeah,
somehow
No, they can
feels-
both be
Yeah.
there. They're fine. For where their car is at, I think C is appropriate for both of them.
You guys
Gasly
think
had a
Albon
top
should
drive
be
and
in
really
C
screwed
then?
it up. I feel like if Ocon got George's seat, he would be doing as well.
Well, then my question is, does Alex Albon stay in C tier? Because he's got 6 points in a Williams, so should we move him up to B?
We'll just never know until he has Carlos next to him. Like, we don't have any
Oh.
Alex barometer at all.
Yeah, I'd like if you want to move him to B, you can. I'm not going to fight it, but that's as high as he can go.
I have no idea. I don't get a
Guys, the double overtake was
Alex
so
at
good.
all.
He deserves
Yeah,
to go
put him
to
in
B
B for the overtake.
for the
True,
double
true.
overtake. Okay,
That's
I'm
true.
happy with this now. The only other thing I would maybe do is put Daniel Ricciardo down into D. That's maybe the only
D for
other.
Daniel.
This may be the only other. What has he done this year? What was his comeback has been such a whimper. Look, he's got
Yeah,
12
sad.
points compared to
Mm.
Yuki's 22 points, you guys. Yuki's had 22 points and Daniel has 12. We have to
Okay, move him
Daniel
down. Move him down.
I don't
move
know
him
though.
down.
I think like he's been given worse strategy a lot of the time.
Yeah, but like Sainz and Leclerc know when to say no. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I
This is what
guess
we're doing
so.
instead.
I don't know. It seems like RB is a really bad team.
Yeah,
Like
Yuki
on
has
many
double
levels.
the points
Yeah,
in
okay.
the same car.
I'm not bothered by this ranking.
Okay, all right. We'll call this, and it feels much more balanced now. There's very bell curvian to it, don't you think?
yeah.
Yeah. I feel that Daniel would have won a race if he had been subbed into Red Bull for the rest of the season, though. Some kind of like Singapore, Azerbaijan
Yeah.
kind of thing.
I think if
True.
it was earlier in the year, maybe.
Oh, now that the car is bad, he would have been bad as well. Oh,
Yeah.
that sucks.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm really excited for Azerbaijan qualifying, guys. I think it's going to be really a real barn burner.
I really don't know what to make about Azerbaijan. I just can't get over the fact that they're driving on real streets, which I know straight tracks do that, but you could see like the turn signals on the ground, and it's just like it bothers me that they don't get into that lane and take a left turn. Like, come on.
I've never thought of it that way, I must say.
It bothers me.
It doesn't bother me that they cut the lanes. It bothers me when they go in the opposite direction to the arrows.
Yeah, that sucks too.
That bothers me.
I saw a picture. I don't know if you guys saw this on Twitter. It was like Baku, like any other time of the year, and there's like 15 lanes of traffic, and it's like Baku for the Formula. Where does that traffic go? Is this like, communist country? They just everybody's like cleared out for F1. Like, what's happening?
They shut it down, like
they
Singapore
do it for Miami
and Monaco.
too.
Yeah.
Just do it. Yeah.
just get rid of it.
I used to be so worried about Azerbaijan because there's almost always a crash, and I just find it like it's exciting, but it's dangerous. But now we have Jeddah and Vegas, and they're both more dangerous. So
Jeddah, I think, is definitely more dangerous. And I just want to say, we Americans do not take street tracks lying down, because the amount of people who are angry for the Vegas just getting rid of all the traffic, it was all over my Instagram and Twitter and everything. It was just angry people in Las Vegas. But it's okay, because that's literally what their city was built for, tourists, so they can live with it.
yeah, that's
all right.
right.
Let's just recap this real quick for our audio-only listeners who have to mentally remember to go watch it. The S tier, Super Saiyan tier, is Super Saiyan Lewis, Super Saiyan Max, and Super Saiyan Nico Hulkenberg. And then we have our A tier, our top grades, toppers, Charles Leclerc, Oscar Piastri, and Nando Alonso. And then our solid Bs, they call them Buzz, is Lando Norris, Carlos Sainz, and Alexander Albon. And then in our C's get degrees, we've got, what's his name? Valtteri Bottas, Esteban Ocon, Pierre Gasly, Yuki Tsunoda, and George Russell. And then in our Ds, we're just here to have a good time. We've got Zhou Guanyu, Lance Stroll, K-Mag, Daniel Ricciardo, D for Danny. And then in our F, they failed out of the year, or should have failed out if they're ready by their seats. We've got Sergio Perez and Logan Sargent. Feels apt. I'm pretty happy with this final ranking. What do you guys think?
Yeah, me too.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got a couple more minutes left. Initially, we were going to talk about predicting 2026, but then Arafat said that was boring. What did you want us to do instead?
So I just thought we were talking about, before we started recording, celebrities and are they good people? Are they bad people? What happens when a celebrity does a bad thing? Blah, blah, blah. And you were talking about like Jonathan Majors, Dave Grohl. And what I was saying is, by default, you have to just assume all of these people are just bad people. And like you can enjoy their music or films or whatever. But the whole industry is rotten and broken, and the people are too. So some of them will overstep the line and do something really, really bad, in which case they get fired, etc. But like, you shouldn't be surprised when people do bad things, because they're just like, it's who they are. So then I was like, okay, Dave Grohl came out this confession kind of from nowhere. What are the weird confessions we think that would come out of the drivers in F1? Should we look at our
I
chart
have one
here?
ready, and
Yeah, go.
this is semi based on a true story. I once knew somebody sort of similar to Oscar Piastri, like very smart. He was a resident, another physician. I actually think he might be a consultant at this point because I met him a while ago. But anyway, he was very smart, but he was just a little like personality wise a little awkward the way Oscar sort of comes out, like where he's kind of like dorky. You like it. It's enjoyable, but he had to declare when he got his job at the hospital if he had any felonies on record. And rather than hide this one like any other person, he declared it. And so I think if there was a scandal, Oscar Piastri would be discovered to have committed a felony, and that felony would have been running a red light, which in some province of Australia is probably, a felony. And so we're going to have this huge scandal where one F1 driver has committed a felony, and it's considered, a huge deal, and they could have gone to jail, but their family got them out of it, and it's going to be Oscar, and everyone's going to think he's Oscar Pistorius, and it's going to be a crazy thing, and then the felony's going to come out, and it's going to be
time on Twitter.
he ran a red light. That's what it's going to be. That's
it'll be a huge storm
scandal.
over nothing. That
exactly.
makes sense.
Yeah.
My scandal will be that I'm looking at the drivers trying to work out who's going to have a scandal. I mean, like Stroll and stuff is obvious. Perez, secret baby, that makes sense.
He's going to be the Dave Grohl.
Yeah.
No
Perez
one
will be the Dave
surprised.
No one would be surprised.
No one would be surprised.
Exactly. No, my thinking is
true.
like, it's something like the thing you wouldn't expect. You know how Valtteri Bottas is like super into coffee?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So like, he starts his own coffee company, and it's all about like fair trade and love and all of this and that. And then you find out he's just actually running really unethical practices.
Oh
And
no,
it's just-
that's a good one.
Yeah.
You wouldn't expect it.
Yeah, that's what I think would.
Okay, Adam.
Okay, I'm going to go for the low-hanging fruit, gross pun very much intended, and say that Kelly PK put some really inappropriate dibs on Max before he was
this is like
legally on the market.
Yeah, this is like a thing now on
That's
Twitter.
going to be his confession. He's going to be like, yeah, so
This
Kelly
is like a
dibs.
This is
early
like on Twitter now as a theory. This is not even like a you're not this is like people think
he was groomed.
Yeah, by Kelly
he was
PK.
groomed essentially. Yeah, I'm gonna say that like, it looks the legend is like, obviously Kvyat took off because he's a nasty Russian boy and he's just some plutocrat and he can do whatever he wants. But truly, he was just so tired of hearing Kelly lust after Max, day after day.
She's 10 years older than him, right?
Yeah, and that's why people.
And he was like 16, 17 at the time.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah. How
Ugh.
close is Max's? I don't know this. I'm just asking questions here. All right, guys. How close is Max's age to Penelope versus Max's age to
Oh yeah. How old
Kelly?
is Penelope?
So he'll be what, 15 years older than her? So he's 10 years
What's
younger
her
than the
last
mum
name?
and 15 years older
Penelope
than the daughter.
So
Penelope PK.
You know, and again, you know what, Rock On, because Max is having such a positive influence in her life, and like it's objectively quite lovely to see. But still,
Yeah.
I feel like we
It's
get
the
a
it's
few
the
decades
start of the
on.
story has a bad chapter. The
Yeah.
current story is fine.
So
A
she's
few,
just the
yeah, a
start
few
of the story.
decades on, though, those like tell-all interviews are going to be a little bit difficult to listen to, especially because Max has no filter. He'll just be
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, you know, so you always really like threw away the marriage. It was all him." Like if he's willing to like trauma dump about his dad that much, he's not gonna. Come on.
I think we're gonna find out eventually that Kelly PK sent messages to other drivers before Max. I think I wouldn't be surprised
that's
if
also
Lewis is
really
on the list.
super possible.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Lewis is there too. But I'm gonna feel like she's gonna have DM'd some other driver who maybe blew her off, and then eventually she messaged Max.
I've got it. She's DM'd every driver except George. Except George.
He wasn't even there. That's the funniest thing.
Even Nick DeVries got a message, and not
Yeah, even Nick got a message. She messaged, "Oh, I'm so sorry, you lost your seat, etc." But she's never ever made any effort to talk to George.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's funny.
I like that a lot.
Do you want to do one more? Do you want to close the episode off? We're coming up to just about an hour here.
Can't think of any other scandals.
No, that's beautiful.
All right. Thank you, everybody. That was our little fun off season, off topic.
Yeah, in between races.
In between. That's our in between episode. We'll come back to you guys after Azerbaijan and Baku come up with you a new episode, and we'll talk about that race and how George Russell crashed into Daniel Ricciardo. Boom, came up with a random combo.
Can Leclerc win qualifying? This is his place. The car is not good enough, but he's so good here.
Yeah.
He is actually
Sergio
really good.
is sometimes good there.
Yeah.
Oh, Sergio. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you. Bye.
Free my man Max.
Bye.
Free my man Yuki.